Hey guys, what's up, everyone? This is a new style of podcasting, whatever you want to call it. Tech talk. We had a lot of sports action this past weekend, and of course, I've invited Maverick, my good friend, who has been on previous podcasts and stuff. You may see him, you may not. All depends. But while we are waiting, in the meantime, we're on the road talking about this weekend's college football. Also, he's talking about, if time allows, about about this about the upcoming NFL game starting Thursday. But let's do a little recap. Top 25. One of them being a 1 versus a 3. Now, I will tell you that I did not get to see many of the games due to my work schedule. Just like my work schedule from last weekend, it's going to be just as busy. So I'll be able to catch some of the games, and we'll talk what happened, the do's, the don'ts, you name it. We'll discuss whatever you guys want to talk about when it comes to the world of sports. What happened in several of the games? Liberty Flames, they almost flamed out against Maine. But let's go back to our topic for today, which is what happened in Texas and Ohio State game. The most talked about game in all of NFL history. It's several new debuts for a lot of head coaches. One of them, the biggest one of all, was Arch Manning. Arch Manning was making his collegiate debut. I guess that's how you pronounce it. Either way, he was being christening into the system of the world of sports. It was like, oh man, Arch Manning is going to throw several bombs, touchdowns to several key players. They're forgetting that Texas did lose a lot of players to the draft. Their quarterback and the offensive line has always had issues in the past. One is, of course, blocking and stuff. And so that was a main issue that was going on this past weekend. Texas could not block anything. They just could not block at all. Which I think they also studied a lot of game plan on Arch Manning because he was the most hyped quarterback. Right, he's the next golden child. He's going to be better than Peyton Manning, Arch Manning. Then also Arch Manning Sr. I mean, he is going to take over and control the entire game. That was not the narrative that actually happened. Now, the game was a lot closer than expected. So hopefully when the polls come out, of course, when they drop sometime today, because North Carolina played TCU last night, and that's another day. What went wrong with that? The fact that there were a lot of teams that shocked the world, and a lot of teams that did not shock the world. And let me bring up the. I don't think you can necessarily see it. Of course, like I said, me being on my phone. There we go. Okay. Top 25 teams that had. Let's see. Teams college football scores. Now, this is what a lot of radio broadcasters do. They do look up the information while being live on the air. And of course, I am a huge college football person. That's all I watch. I prefer most of the time. But we're going to recap some of the scores that you might not have caught. There were a lot of shockers. And so here they are. Well, actually, Sorry about that. It's not what I wanted. Not rankings. There we go. Let's talk about some of these scoreboards here. With week number 1. Of course, one of the first games that I ended up seeing was the Iowa State Kansas State game. Of course, I fell asleep because I was super exhausted. And Iowa State was playing in. It was a rain fest, one after another. Now these are still top 25. This is number 22, taking on the number 17 Kansas State. They're like, oh, Kansas State's gonna be better than they were last year. Got all their guys back. Little did they know whether would play a huge factor. I've heard comments about people saying, "Why are we playing in Ireland?" And another, it is a monsoon happening during this game. Yet things are not as a theme. Sorry, I had to check something. Okay, so Iowa State ended up winning the game by a field goal. It was the last second one. It was not was it a 70-yard? It might have been a 70-yard field goal. But that was a close one for Thursday. We had another Thursday battle. South Florida upset Boise State. That was another game I won. There were so many games starting this past weekend. I was able to catch some. I think college football is on like 5 days a week now, so you do have time, even though I didn't catch the main ones on Saturday and Sunday. But these games were very intriguing. South Florida was one of those intriguing games, especially playing a ranked team. And of course, they let them. Now I get the code I was looking for. But now they let Boise State have it. Their defense killed Boise State. Boise State could not do nothing. Boise State's from Idaho. They typically have a good team. You come to Boise, you're going to be coming on that blue turf. It's going to be something to reckon with. Because just like South Florida's home crowd got into it, wait till Boise goes home. I think they'll be okay. Now, South Florida might have kicked Boise out of the top 25. Is it enough to get them in? Only the reports and all those that have a feeling that South Florida might squeeze in this week. If they get in early, that's fine, because it's not what you do in the beginning of the season. It's what you do at the end of the season, and every week is a playoff game. A game I did not see, and it's a good thing I didn't. Did you see the killing that Illinois took care of Western Illinois? It's almost like they played not an FCS team, but a Division II AA team. Illinois just stomped all over Western Illinois. That was no competition. So they're putting up some good old fantasy points, 52-3. They wanted to show out that, hey, we can do just about anything. But you're playing a team that was not good to begin with. They need a better schedule. Kind of like what Texas Ohio State did. Speaking of which, we're going to jump into Texas Ohio State. The previous years, so against the Big Ten, Texas has not fared very well on that. And this is Saturday's games I was not able to attend or watch, but at least Texas gave it a fight. When I was looking at the scoreboard while at work, I couldn't believe how close it was. It was 7-0 at the half. Texas comes back in the third quarter and scores a touchdown. But then Ohio State gets the ball back in the fourth quarter. Their defense was real stingy. They let Manning know what was going on. Oh, did they ever let Manning know? This is not a game Manning was expecting. It was, besides the Lee Corso show, this was literally all about Lee Corso. and Arch Manning's christening into the collegiate world of sports. Last year, he played some soft teams, but this year, it's going to be a brutal year. I have had the experience of playing Arch Manning on the game itself. The game does not, the video game does not do enough diligence or justice to showcase how good or how bad Texas is. There was they had that home atmosphere. Anytime you get their home crowd into it, and going off on Lee Corso's day, I thought what made it magical is when Ohio State spells Corso on the field as he retires from college game day. I was a little disappointed driving to work. I did not get to hear any college game day. All that I had was the college. All I had was the college. The big noon kickoff, pretty much. The big noon kickoff, and so I was not too thrilled about that. And so another good game. Penn State, Nevada. Penn State's number 2. Obviously, you had a 3 versus 1. Texas will fall out. How far will they fall? They may fall at 8. Depends on the order. So we had the Penn State Nevada game. Nevada comes all the way to Happy Valley to play Penn State. Boy, Penn State showed out. 46-11 is what the score was. 46-11. Can y'all believe that? That is unbelievable. They let Nevada have it as they welcome the Mountain West to their territory. Another game that I was able to catch some of was the LSU versus Clemson. Just like Texas and Ohio State, LSU and Clemson had a tough battle all game long. It really wasn't until the fourth quarter when LSU Nuttenmeyer finally got something going. And Nuttenmeyer finally got something going. And so that was a game to see. If you did not see it already, it was a game for everyone. With Nuttenmeyer coming in the last quarter and just surprises. One Death Valley to another Death Valley. Tigers to Tigers. Eye to eye. Eye for an eye. Tooth for a tooth. Eye for an eye. The LSU Tigers came through Clemson's Death Valley and showed them who the real Death Valley was. That it was your LSU Tigers, at least this year. That's an SEC taking on an SEC number 4 versus number 9. Clemson will fall out, which means so we got the 1, the 4 have fallen. Then let's move on to Georgia. Georgia versus Marshall. We have Georgia versus Marshall. Marshall is in the Sun Belt playing against a top-ranked Georgia team. Oh my gosh, 45-7. Gunnar Stockton shows that he's for real. Again, it is a Sun Belt team. Sun Belt need practice that they can hang. Shoot, myself included, I'm playing Liberty Flames on the small school schedule in one of our video game leagues. And of course, besides that's another story that we'll talk about. These small schools cannot hang with these big schools, and there's a reason for that. Let's move on to another wallop. Besides Georgia and Marshall, Oregon versus Montana State. Oh my gosh. Montana State. You were better off playing North Dakota State to have a chance. And that would have been an upset. But a Big Ten meets Hopefully, we're still connected, by the way, that we're on the Wi Fi. No interruptions. But, anyways, Montana State gets walloped 59-13. The biggest surprise at all. Yep. We're still connected, folks. We're still connected. The biggest surprise at all. Let's move on to the Alabama-Florida State game. One of the most talked games. Florida State is unranked due to last year they barely won any game. Well, this year they let Caleb DeBoer know he better check his coaching because it is one of those games that he did not see coming. Florida State does end up beating Alabama 31-17 at Florida State. People all around came to see this. Oh my gosh, it was all over ESPN, over all the talk shows, radio shows. Alabama gets beat. Now they're like, oh man, I wish Nick Saban was here to see this. Actually, not here to see it. They probably wish they were playing Nick Saban. Maybe had a better chance at doing what they do best. And we got another game similar to the Northern Illinois or Western Illinois. Arizona State playing Northern Arizona. And it ends up being 38-19 over Northern Arizona. Still, will it be enough for them to stay in the top 15? Or will they have to do something else? A game that was closer than you might think would be Michigan versus New Mexico. The Lobos were looking to come to Michigan. I don't know what they were expecting in the Big Blue House, because that house was rocking 34-17. And the stats was unbelievable. As you can... Sorry about that. Yeah, Bryce Underwood definitely let them have it 34-17 against the Lobos in his debut. They weren't sure if he was going to be named their starter, but you know how things go. Why did Florida play Long Island University? Did they just want some Long Island tea or something? Because they must have a score of 55-0. They literally got a free cup of that Long Island iced tea. So that's all they wanted right there. And it was definitely not even... that game was... I don't think there was enough advertisement for that game. And that's, to me, Long Island University, I think they're still an FCS school. Last time I checked, but they could be a Division II school that early came out of nowhere, but they got no points. They couldn't do anything against that Gator defense. Ranked number 19, or 15, I'm sorry. 15. SMU versus East Texas A&M. When I think of East Texas A&M, I'm saying Texarkana, Texas A&M University, but that's not the same school at all. Dude, I don't even know where... I've been in Texas all my life. I don't even know where East Texas A&M University is. It has to be more of an in-state rivalry, because it ended up being 42-13. Well, the final score in that. A lot of teams did play. A lot of teams did play ranked teams too, and a lot of teams played FCS schools just to get their start on. Now, the one team that I probably wish they'd never put on their schedule, as I had mentioned before, is this Kansas State, North Dakota. Y'all know North Dakota is very dangerous. I'm talking about very, very dangerous, which means you do not want to put them on your schedule. They are the most dangerous FCS school out there. And so they ended up winning. Kansas State ended up coming through winning 38-35. against an FCS school. That will definitely hurt their rankings. Anytime you play that close to an FCS school, but they're a good FCS. I'm surprised North Dakota had not even came into the FBS as good as North Dakota State or North Dakota and South Dakota. How are they not in FBS? They're keeping themselves at FCS level, which means they can't do anything about that. At least not yet. But yeah, 38-35 against North Dakota. They play some hard, hard, hard-nosed football out there. And then we got Illinois State Redbirds. Illinois State Redbirds. So you know what? Let's play a little. Let's bring in the Sooners here. Now a lot of these teams pay big bucks for these small schools to come in and play. Illinois State, I've been to their stadiums before. It is not very big. The schools are not very big. They're still in the FCS. Eventually, they may move to a. Eventually, they may move to the FBS, like every FBS team out there, if they get selected. But it's not going to be this year. It may be next year. But here's what happened: Oklahoma took a 4-down Illinois State score 35-3. I'm not saying their defense was that good against a FCS school. I guess it was really good. I mean, it sounded like there were some back and forth battles going on. I think Illinois State tried. They just couldn't get the Redbirds off the ground. Oh, here's a game that was back and forth. Texas A&M versus University of Texas San Antonio, taking on Texas A&M. Now, the score for that game was 42-24. What a good game that was. The UTSA, they are an FBS school looking to build their resume. Because y'all know this year's playoffs, that your losses much. Now, back to the long. I think I fell to Michigan first game or State. I don't remember which one it was. But we ended up with the 17th seed and we came through and we won the national championship. Or some defending my third year in that. But the Aggies took care of business, winning 42-24. Indiana, Old Dominion. Old Dominion's in the Sun Belt. Indiana are like, oh, let's try to take down Indiana. Now, Indiana actually is being criticized for their scheduling. Their scheduling being that they took off good opponents and putting teams in the Sun Belt, FCS schools, supposed to go in the opposite direction. And plus, being that Indiana head coach is a former JMU head coach. So it had renewed rivalry. They knew the coach. They knew what he's capable of. And they gave him a fight, Old Dominion, which means their defense was pretty good. They probably got tired near the around the third quarter. And so that's when Indiana started getting on a hot streak, 27-14. Another Georgia State Sunbelt versus Ole Miss 8 SEC, 63-7. And again, Iowa State taking on an FCS school, 55-7. Two teams, both ranked very high, took care of their own business. They didn't let that score bother them, that they are not afraid to score big if need be. And so that's exactly what they did. And then we have Texas Tech, Arkansas, Pine Bluff. Again, 3 games. These teams were all in the top 20 by, these are 21 through 25 right now. And these three definitely 67-7 against a team that's definitely an FCS school, not even an FBS school. If they lost to an FCS school, then they got some coaching problems that they need to figure out. A game that everyone was expecting Syracuse and Tennessee for a close one. Tennessee took care of their own business here, winning 45-26 over Syracuse. They're a team to watch out for. They're a sleeper team for sure. But the game that I caught on the way home was the Notre Dame-Miami game. The most intriguing game, and I'm glad I did catch it. It's number 10 versus number 6. So another top 10 fell in Miami. Four of the top 10 teams had fallen out. With Miami winning at the last second, 27-24. Notre Dame almost came back, but threw a pick at the very end. And then we have a game that took place at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, South Carolina versus Virginia Tech. Everyone was choosing South Carolina to win the game and they were calling this the Beamer Bowl, pretty much. Frank Beamer was on the sideline watching his son, but he was on the Tech sideline. That's who he coached. His son is coaching South Carolina. And at the end, I thought it was very special. South Carolina's game ball went to Frank Beamer, the opposite side. How cool was that? 24-11. And then last night's game versus TCU. Oh my goodness. What a game that was. Make sure I'm not missing anything here. But yeah, last night's game has score. But we got a lot of fun games happening for you. Coming up in week number 2, San Jose comes to Texas. University of Texas to play them. I see Texas getting a W. Let's call these wins or losses right now. Florida International versus Penn State. Again, these are still top 25. Florida International versus Penn State. I'm going to say Penn State will still go 2-0 against Florida International. Duke, Illinois. Both 1-0. Duke did beat their squad. Neither was ranked. But I'm going to say Illinois for that one. So Illinois gets the victory. Number 12 over Duke. Then you got Baylor and SMU. Baylor will always play a tough one here. I believe these two are in the Big 12. Baylor versus SMU. I'm going to have to say Baylor will upset SMU. I know last year SMU was really good. I'm going to call Baylor for the upset. Kennesaw State, Indiana. This is what I don't like. They had Old Dominion. Now they get Kennesaw State, who's in Conference USA. Indiana's already starting off with a soft cupcake schedule. Indiana is going to beat Kennesaw State. So Kennesaw will go 0-2 and Indiana will go 2-0. Not against any Power 5 or Power 4 or Power 2. Iowa State, Iowa. It's always a fun in-game rivalry game. But give it to the hot hand. Iowa State will win this one in week 2. Kent State, Texas Tech. I don't think Kent State has enough firepower to take down Texas Tech. So I can't call an upset for that game. Utah State, A&M. I think this Texas team is still too powerful enough that they're not going to Utah State. Let me see here. I would love Utah State to beat A&M. Like I said, I would love it. Will that happen? Probably not. They are at 12th Man Aggie Stadium, which will give them the home field advantage. A&M for the win. And by the way, Texas winning easily too. Grambling, Ohio State. Ohio State, their defense is too good. And Grambling's nothing like Texas. Ohio State will continue with 2-0 record. Grambling will be 1-1. Clemson and Troy. I think this is going to be Clemson's revenge game. Give Clemson the win for this one. Austin Pie in Georgia. Georgia's going to wallop them too. Oklahoma State and Oregon. Oregon always has firepower, especially at home. Give Oregon the win. Ole Miss and Kentucky. Kentucky, they seem to have found their replacement in their. I'm going to call Kentucky with beating Ole Miss. I do like that home field advantage. Tennessee East Tennessee State versus Tennessee. I'm going to say Tennessee will continue to be 2-0 against an easy East Tennessee State. Florida, South Florida. Ooh. Here's another upset for you. South Florida beating Florida Gators. That would be pretty amazing. So I'm going to call South Florida beating the Gators at home. Bethune Cook versus Miami. Carson-Beck's going to get the easy win. South Carolina State, South Carolina with an easy win. Army and Kansas State. Army is 0-1. Kansas State. You know what? Let's go with Kansas State for that victory. And I'll try to do some. I will definitely do my best to try to get some. Try to do this once a week if I can. But we'll see what happens. And then we got Louisiana Tech versus LSU. So yeah, Kansas State over Army. Louisiana Tech over LSU and LSU. Louisiana Tech will not lose to Death Valley. I mean, Louisiana Tech will lose to Death Valley. So LSU Tigers take home a second win against a Sun Belt team or newly Sun Belt team. Arizona State, Mississippi State. Arizona State, Mississippi State, both 1-0. I'll still go with Arizona State with a high, taking on Mississippi State. Oh, here's one for the ages. This is going to take place on ABC at 7:30. I'll be able to listen to it on the way home. This is Saturday night. Oklahoma versus Michigan. Oh my goodness. Oklahoma versus Michigan. I think Michigan comes into Oklahoma and beats Oklahoma. SEC versus Big Ten. Finally, someone that's actually playing a good team. Even though Oklahoma were their team. But Michigan versus Oklahoma. I'm going to say Michigan for the victory. Good for Texas, bad for Oklahoma. University of Louisiana Monroe versus Alabama. Very easy for me to choose Alabama. DeBoer is looking to get his victory back as Monroe finally loses the one here. So I'm going to say no to Alabama. No to University of Louisiana Monroe. And those are the games for this upcoming week. A lot of full schedules here for the upcoming games. Now, there's a lot of NFL talk too. Oh, we'll put these together. But the NFL talk is there's a lot of good teams playing this weekend. Many of y'all know I'm a Tennessee Titans fan. I was even looking at some of the Titans podcasters and those who have ties to the organization that does a variety of stuff with them. And basically, for Tennessee, there's no way they're going to do very well this year. They have a rookie quarterback. The offensive line is not that great. We have old receivers. I'm talking about old receiver. We couldn't even do anything with who we got. So, and they finally they're releasing our number one pick in receiver because he's been injured every single year. And yet, Tennessee Titans, I do like the 7 and 10 pick slot. We might win more games than we did last year. Unless you're like a Jaden Daniels, who wasn't even number one overall. That brought a team out of nowhere to Prince brought a team out of nowhere. Like the Washington Commanders. But I wish my Titans luck. But I do not see them doing well this year. I believe the coach is going to be on a hot seat. The owners are going to feel the pressure. And they'll be looking for a new head coach. Brian Callahan will not be the coach. He's going in his third year. They tried it with the previous resumes, coaching staff. You see that didn't work out so well either. And then they got new staff. They all praised Cam Ward when he came in. Brandon Allen is their backup quarterback. These are not big names. Look at Aaron Rodgers. It took him years to get Brett Favre's coveted seat. Now we got teams that basically are shoving your first round draft picks in. Aaron Rodgers was a first round draft pick. He's at the bench for like 4 or 5 years. But the NFL pressure is so much right now that it is like if you draft a quarterback in the first round overall, you better start them. Now, later rounds, what does Shedeur Sanders do? He's listed, let's see, he's listed 4th on the depth chart for the Browns. I think there's too much media is being made of it. Back to Bill Belichick and getting swamped by TCU last night. The media keeps praising these teams for doing nothing. You don't get a participants trophy just for showing up to the game. And you don't just award someone without even seeing what they can actually do. It takes years to develop a team in the college market. People are going to leave or transfer after the first season if they don't like what they see. Now, I will tell you the most successful, going back to the Miami game, CJ Daniels, former Liberty standout, before he transferred to LSU, now is in Miami. He made a super grab. And he's become one of the most successful stories right now. He's in the perfect offense. He's probably going to be number one on their depth chart. And the list goes on and on. What a game that's going to be, or not, but players like that. And hopefully he does well enough so he doesn't have to transfer out of into the portal or get injured. he might be a high draft pick. I mean, Jaden Daniels, who got drafted. Tom Brady got drafted in the 6th round, and he now is the most successful person on and off the air right now with 6 Super Bowl wins. No, 7 Super Bowl wins. And then you have so many teams that didn't draft high quarterbacks do really well. One of the funniest memories I have is when Peyton Manning versus Ryan Leaf. Everyone's like, oh, Ryan Leaf is going to be doing super well in the NFL. And Ryan Leaf wanted out of San Diego. He didn't think, no, that was the other draft pick. But Ryan Leaf, as you can see, he did not stay in the NFL too long before he was out of the NFL, did drugs and all this, then slowly moved on. But as we get ready for this NFL season, Baltimore and Buffalo are teams I could still see in the playoffs. Y'all might not have been watching too hard, but the Cowboys are still doing Cowboy stuff. They traded Micah Parsons, who was dealing with an injury at the time. He has a back injury, which is why it looked like he was sleeping. Dude, if I lay down at anywhere, shoot, I'd be sleeping too. But, of course, coming with an injury like that, you shouldn't have been on the sideline for the Cowboys game, but you get paid to play the game. You got to show up at least, and you still get paid big bucks. We are paying our athletes way too much money. Too many people poor or in debt that it's hard to get out. If you guys want to see any future comments, future topics, feel free to leave a comment anywhere. I'll try to post this throughout all my channels so you are aware of Text Talk. We're talking about sports. We'll talk about just about anything you guys want to talk about. Bringing it live on the air for a little road time with Big Tex. The internet's not the greatest here, but let's go back to the Packers. Packers, I think, are going to do really well. They don't need Aaron Rodgers. They have a pretty good backup in Malik Willis, who has proven himself. And he was the Titans' 4th-round draft pick. But yet, Brian Kelly could not make it work. And which I was not happy about it. When Malik got drafted by the Titans, everyone in my channel saw the excitement that I had as we were watching it together. Which happened to be the same day that my YouTube channel got banned because we allowed too many bad things going. Too many bad things went on with the organization itself. They didn't give him a chance. Will Levis was supposed to be the guy. Now look, Will Levis is not even a backup. He's out for a season. Right before, a few weeks before the season actually started, all of a sudden Will Levis is done for a season. While Malik Willis is making the best of his time. He's a God-fearing man. He's grateful for these opportunities, especially someone from a school like Liberty University. I am a proud Liberty graduate. I work hard for everything I do. It does not come easy, no matter how you put it. And so, I always need y'all's love and support for this channel and all my channels here. But yeah, it's Thursday, Giants and not Giants. The Eagles are going to play the Cowboys. I just fell asleep and I didn't get to do a live draft, but the computer did a good job with who I wanted and stuff. So we got an okay team. I can't wait to see what happens. I can't guarantee that my fantasy players will all still be there. They may not. They definitely may not still be there. But I'm looking for a good fantasy But maybe we got more people coming in. Still recruiting people for our football games for Xbox and PlayStation. Talked to a friend last night. He's getting his Xbox soon enough with XRS. And let's move on from sports and talk about American Truck Simulator is coming to console. I know many people who play on console have been asking years, how do I play it? And it's finally here. We don't know the date yet, but it's going to console. NASCAR Heat 25 is coming out, which I look forward to playing that game too. That's another one because they took that off, and that's coming back to Steam. And so another one I look forward to seeing what's going to go on. Lots of great games are coming out by the time Christmas gets here. Get your stuff on your wish list. So I was trying to bring other people into the broadcast, and it's okay. No one came this time. Maybe down the road. Again, this is a time that I didn't want to prepare for. Like I said, I'll try to bring it back. Even the podcasting, because I do miss it. I miss streaming. I miss a lot of these other things that get you all excited. But hey, it's going to be a good sports year. Texas, I don't think it's going to hurt. Loss is going to hurt too much, but we'll make it up over time. All we need is the key is 6 wins to get a bowl game, but to have a chance at the playoff, we need to do better against opponents to up our chances. The Ohio State game, I don't think will hurt us, but it will kind of reflect on everything. That's Arch Manning's first start, so they may give him the benefit of the doubt anyway. So, in the meantime, get your gaming stuff ready and playing. So many things are coming to the consoles. So many things are coming back on Steam, like your NASCAR Heat 25. And so, great for me as I decide about my personal future, about time, and should I go back another season? I don't know yet. Still undecided on that front. I would love to if the opportunity is there, which it will be, but again, driving an hour to and from any work can be very tiring. I've done it for years. Richmond time, but I do want to make sure the bills get paid. They get paid, and not just be sitting here and actually not making enough to survive. Electricity is going to go up here soon in the next few months. So, anyways, we're going to wrap things up here. I hope you enjoyed the podcast. Again, lots of sports. You've seen my picks for top 25. And I didn't even get to who Liberty plays. Which they play Jacksonville State. If Liberty can get their team together, they can beat Jacksonville State. Otherwise, it's going to be a loss. And that loss will hurt them. I don't think Liberty is as good as they used to be. They are definitely not as good as they used to be. And so, pray for their season. Pray for their coach, their families. We all need prayer. And so, I wish, one thing that I wish also, when I had opportunities to become a senior pastor at the senior pastor level, or even leadership within the company I'm currently with all that they take in consideration everything I do. I've been turned down from way too many jobs with not necessarily the more highly competitive. It's just I think at writing resumes, I think at interviews, and that's the bottom line. But I do not want to be stuck here making minimum wage for the rest of my life. I'll be 45 here. I think I was going to be 46. I'll be 45 here come December, which is 2 days before the season officially ends. And I finally took time off for myself. I got a friend's wedding, actually 2 friends' wedding, which Primo and Swanson is that I don't know how I'm going to be in 2 places at once. One's in Charlotte, the other's in Culpeper, both on the same day, which is near impossible. I may end up taking the entire weekend off. It's all the traveling and stuff. But pray for me. And so I don't have any more details on the other one. It has to do anything, but no details have come about that. Anyways, I hope you all have a wonderful day. Stay safe out there if you're driving. Don't text and drive. Don't video chat and drive. Keep your eyes focused on the wheel. Don't be like me when I'm driving the American Truck Simulator all over the road. And as long as we have good Wi-Fi, we'll continue broadcasting. I don't know how much got cut off. I may have to cut them together or put them together and go from there. So food's expensive. Shoot. Don't get me talking about food and their prices and everything else. I'm just so thankful for the opportunities that I have to come and share with you. And remember that Jesus lives. He is number one in my life. I hope to be a living testimony for each of you that Jesus has been a part of my life growing up. But I've seen a lot of political stuff in the church. I've seen a lot of various things going on. But my biggest thing right now is I have a bad case of sleep apnea. Trying to get better. I'm even going to bed so early that yesterday alone I took so many naps that I slept practically most of the day. Anyways, maybe we'll have some other people jump on this podcast here and let's see. I think if I forgot anything. But anyways, make sure you're following Bigtexgaming, whether it be on all social media. Check out my website too. If you type in Bigtexgaming, you should be able to find my website. I eventually have the bigtexgaming.com back up, but right now that's what it is. So look at Big Tex Gaming. Follow me on all socials: Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Kick, Trovo, TikTok. I go as long as possible. Don't forget my YouTube channels. And thank you to all my sponsors and all of my. Thank you to Talentor Agency that saw me for who I am. I love my content to keep me going, even despite how tired I may be. So thank you all so much. I'm going to get on off here for the next few minutes, but I want to thank you again to my community for allowing me to be as big as I am. I know on Facebook and social media we've gone way downhill. I wish Facebook was back the way it used to be, but everything else. Switching gears again, AI technology has literally taken over in every form. So study it for the AI technology. It could help you in your next job, next future. And I'm constantly adapting to the to the different changes and